Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gundorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. This one was sent to me by Isengard Mech, so again, big thank you to him for sending me this replay. This one is a 3 versus 3 on the Chess Total War map, I believe is what it's called. Kind of just a twist on the standard, pretty much just grassy plains map, and it looks pretty cool, I guess. But without any further ado, we can go ahead and go into the army compositions, beginning with his own. So he's got a couple units here of the Uruk-hai crossbows. He is, of course, going to be playing as Isengard. He's also got a couple units of the Dunlending clansmen. I believe he's got 4 units of Uruk-hai infantry, all of which have an armor upgrade. He's also got 2 units of the Uruk-hai pikemen. He's got some Nazkai, some Uruk-hai berserkers without their armor upgrades, as well as the Trolls of the White Hand, 1 unit of the Warg Riders, of course, a very good anti-cav unit, and then over here he's got a unit of the Champions of the White Hand, again, an extraordinarily good anti-cavalry unit with a bunch of very good stats as well as some hit points. We can also go over here now to see the first of his allies, who is going to be Umbar, commanded by CPT Gervais. He's got a couple units of the Corsair Archers being protected by a unit of the lightly armored Corsair Pikemen. He's also got a couple units of the Corsair Savages. It looks like 2 units of the Belagir AP Halberds. He's also got 1 unit of the Numenorean Shield Guard, very, very good at holding line, mainly because of the fact that they've got good stats, good armor, and also primarily because of the fact that they have lock morale, so these guys will not rout no matter what. He's also got a unit of the Naru Unaro Sentinels, the very elite armored pike that Umbar has to offer. He's got a unit of Harbingers of Castamere for his general's bodyguard. He's also got, I believe, only 2 units of the Castamere's Legion, very elite sword and shield infantry. And then down here he's got 1 unit of the Numenorean Lancers, as well as 1 unit of the Warlords of Umbar way down here. So of course, going to be seeing some knights today on the field as well. Down here we've got the final player for this team. We'll just call it the blue team, team 1, something like that. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't really matter that much. He's got we've got Froggy here playing as the Orcs of the Misty Mountains. He's got a couple units of the Goblin Archers. Also looks like a couple units of the Heavy Goblin Archers. And back here he's got a full contingent of Heavy Goblin Infantry, that being 5 units of the AP Heavy Goblin Spears, as well as I believe 5 units of the Heavy Goblin Infantry. Looks like he might have a unit of the Standard Goblin Light Infantry down here hidden as well. He's got a unit of the Goblin King's Bodyguard and another unit of Heavy Goblin Infantry right here as well. As you can tell, he has no Trolls or Cavalry whatsoever, so there are probably some more hidden units around here, like maybe the Half-Orc Mountain Berserkers, as well as the Blackback Mountain Berserkers, but we'll just have to see if that's the case just a little bit on. But for the first of the red team's players, we have got Master Blaster, bringing a very interesting Lothlorien army. Definitely a supporting type army. He's got 1 unit of these Sylvan Spears, he's got 1 of these Sindar Archers, as well as 1 unit of the Galadrim Nobles, and actually 2 units of the Galadrim Riders. Very, very good elite Elven Horse Archers with, I believe, a couple hit points as well. So they're very tough to bring down, and with their Elven accuracy and pretty decent armor, these guys can really be a nuisance. So having 2 of them on the field today probably will work out very well, although as you can see his overall army is very, very small. He's also got 3 units of the Lothlorien Mounted Company, very good Lancer Cav, however they are relatively lightly armored, so you want to keep these guys away from skirmishers of any kind. But again, because his army is so small, I do expect a couple hidden units around here as well, maybe some Staff Masters or a Ranger or something like that. But again, because of also how he's deployed, he is definitely going to be supporting his allies rather than just facing off against Umbar one-on-one. Also, knowing Master Blaster, he's of course a very experienced player, so we'll have to see if this works out for him. At the very least, I do know he's very good at microing. However, we can now see the next player on this team, who is going to be Mighty Eskimo 6. He's playing as Dale. He's got a couple units of Laketown Spearmen on either end, as well as 1 unit of the Dalian Lancer Cavalry. He's got a unit of the Girians Paladins, 1 unit of the Moraquendi Elven Pikes. He's got a unit of the Blackshot Dragon Stars. He's actually got 2 units of Moraquendi Pikes, interestingly enough. He also has 1 unit of the Dalian Swordmasters Shock Infantry. And then his front line consists of some Barding Herd, who are of course AP Halberds, as well as a couple units of the Laketown Pikemen. And his Archer Corps consists of 2 units of the Laketown Bows. Well, no, maybe just 1 unit? No, I think that's 2 units of the Laketown Bows. 1 unit of Laketown, or no, 1 unit of Bardian Marksmen rather, and 1 unit of the Moraquendi Bows. A little bit confusing there, but we'll be able to see his Archer Corps, of course, further on once they start to spread out a little bit. And here, here we have actually got Baconfish 302 playing as the Dwarves of Erebor. He is not bringing the infamous 2 units of Blacklock Engineers. Oh no, no. Baconfish is going to be taking it a step further here today, and is actually going to be bringing 3 units of the infamous Blacklock Engineers. Now, because of this, the rest of his army is going to be rather small. You can see he's only got a couple units of Ironfoot Warriors at most. He's got 1 of the Dwarven Ironfoot Hammer Guard, of course, a very, very deadly melee cav who are also knights. He's got 2 units of the AP Axe Guard of Erebor, and then his front line consists of almost entirely a couple units of Ironfoot Pikes, as well as a couple units of Ironfoot Spears. So, of course, he is definitely relying on his Blacklock Engineers, all 3 units of them to do most of the heavy lifting, while his infantry attempts to hold the line against the waves upon waves of Moria goblins. I think this is going to be a very interesting fight, to say the least. However, we can go and start the battle off itself. Of course, I do not want it to be at 6 times speed. That would be very, very much not good. But it looks like he does actually have 2 units of Lake Town bows, 1 unit of the Morquindi bows, and 1 unit of the Bargain Marksman. Okay, so that is the case. And yes, of course, instantaneously, Master Blaster going to be rushing over here to support, honestly, probably both of his allies really here. However, I'm not entirely sure how well this army is going to work, because it looks like he does not have any hidden units left over. Again, because of how many elites he did end up bringing, especially because that second unit of Galadrim Riders probably did cost him quite a bit of money. And now now that is going to actually allow Umbar, as you can see, to move completely over here and now begin to double team Dale with the help from Isengard. However, of course, the attackers here, or rather the Team 1, will have to be aware of these Elven units. They are very low in number, but they are very, very deadly. Particularly, these Lancers can really do a lot of damage. Although it looks like some of the Lancers may be heading over towards the Dwarves to help out, who of course have very little cavalry on their own. Frog, you can see, is also moving the main core of his army back to an area where they will actually be able to fight against the Dwarves. And against Moria, the cavalry will probably do very, very well, because he's got 5 units of spears, but he doesn't have any halberds or anything like that. He doesn't even have any wargs, he doesn't have any trolls, so he could be very, very weak to cavalry. And I don't see any hidden units either here, so maybe the funds were slightly lower than usual. I don't know that for sure. I was not made aware of anything like that. But here we go. We got a charge maybe from the Hammer Guard of Baconfish. That'd probably be not a bad idea, honestly, charging into these goblin infantry and archers. But it looks like he's actually going to think better of it and instead move his Hammer Guard elsewhere along the battlefield. Blacklock Engineers not firing quite yet. Looks like Baconfish is going to be setting up here closer to his ally as well. Isengard also has not been moving forward yet. Of course, he is going to be very outranged. His crossbows are going to be very outranged by all of the Dalian units, so he's going to be careful of that. Over here, we've got some cavalry engagements, though. We've got the Warlords of Umbar. Yes, there were some hidden units here. You can see that. Whoa, what happened here? The Dalian cavalry look like they took some major losses to, yes, the Corsair Blackguard javelins, and yes, there in fact are some hidden units around here. You can see the cavalry of Umbar destroying these hidden units from Master Blaster, that being some upgraded Sylvan Staff Masters. There are some Sindar Blade Masters around here as well. You can see Master Blaster scrambling some of his Horse Archers around here to try to help out. Dale also tried to help out, defend his hidden units, but unfortunately the hidden units of Master Blaster were found out, or at least a decent portion of them. So this will result in the loss of these hidden units, which could have otherwise been able to pull off a very, very damaging ambush into the rear lines of Umbar. And that is honestly very, very unfortunate right here. And because of the fact that the rest of Master Blaster's army is not over here, I do not think he will be able to cause enough damage to the Umbar lines with these otherwise probably pretty damaging units, particularly the Sindar Blade Masters, who are currently just getting cycle charged by the Warlords of Umbar, as well as the Lancers. However, the Numenorean Lancers have taken a lot of losses. They're now down to only 12 men remaining, and that is probably down to the fact that we've got these units of Galadrim Riders here. They are taking some returning arrow fire. Actually, looks like both units of Galadrim Riders are over here. And they will be targeting, of course, the Knights as well, who are down to 17. And so it looks like he's going to be able to dish out a little bit of damage. He was able to kill most of those Lancers, but for the most part, it looks like Master Blaster did take a lot of losses there. You can see some of the, actually a lot of these Corsair Savages going down to arrow fire. Of course, very weak to skirmishers. Sindar Blade Masters still trying to do their bit, but probably not going to be able to last for too much longer. And then Corsair Archers trying to shoot down the Galadrim Riders, but the hit points on these guys, as well as their good armor, is going to make them last for quite some time. Eventually they will run out of ammo, but it's going to be a while. There goes the last of the Numenorean Lancers. Looks like 1 or 2 may escape, but they're not going to be that effective later. Well, they're not going to be that effective from now on. However, over here, we've got Dale and the Dwarves kind of setting up a very, very defensive formation. Again, that's totally because of the fact that they're basically 2v3ing this now, especially because Master Blaster's hidden forces were found out. So I think it's going to be pretty tough for this team. I mean, honestly, they've still got some good stuff. Like, Master Blaster still has some very deadly things around here, like the Sindar Archers and the Galadrim Nobles, as well as all of his cavalry. So it's still definitely very even. And over here, we've got the Dwarves still just chilling. Their crossbows are not quite in range of the goblins, and that is something that Bacon Fish might suffer from, because he does not have any archers. Well, Airborne doesn't have any access to any foot archers at all. They only have crossbows. He may find himself outranged by these heavy goblin archers as well as the goblin archers of Froggy. So if Froggy decides to just sit back and fire arrow after arrow into those Blackhawk Engineers, they may start to go down. However, the Blackhawk Engineers do have very good armor as well as a couple hit points, so they will be able to withstand that low damage from the goblin archers for a very long time, and at the very least waste a bunch of that ammo. Over here we've got Lake Town moving forward here with some of his archers. They're a little bit unsupported here, so they may end up getting charged, but actually I take it back because I believe most of the cavalry of Umbar is now done for, including the warlords of Umbar, down to only 6 men. Those Galadrim Riders very, very deadly. Looks like one unit of the Galadrim Riders is now down to only 16, and the other is down to 18, so they are definitely taking losses here. There may even still be a few hidden units around here, but I'm not totally positive about that in all honesty. Still though, most of the Umbar cavalry has now been taken out, so it looks like Lake Town is not going to have to worry at all about taking charges to their archers. Although those 6 warlords of Umbar technically could get a decent charge off. On the Lake Town bowmen, they might be able to do a bit of damage, but it's probably not going to be super useful. The Lake Town bowmen here targeting the Belgier halberds. They've got decent armor, but they don't have shields, so they will take losses to that. Honestly, Gervais probably should pull some of his shielded infantry around here to kind of protect his Belgier halberds, but it's probably not going to be a huge issue. But over here we can now see that Master Blaster is actually pushing back towards his original spawn with the rest of his army here. And that honestly is not a bad call at all, because he's only got archers and cavalry left over. He could definitely pull off kiting very, very easily, especially now that Umbar has lost a lot, well, pretty much all of their own cavalry. He could definitely kite Umbar very, very well. Here, all things considered, especially because Umbar, like I said, has no cavalry left over, so the Lancers could potentially do a lot of damage, and it looks like they are in fact going to be trying to get a charge off here into these Corsair archers. The main bad thing about the Lothlorien Mounted Company is they don't have great armor, so if the archers are able to get protected by these pikemen who are now rushing forward and then turn around and get a volley off, they will be able to actually cause a pretty good amount of damage to the Lorien Mounted Company. So yeah, the Corsair pikemen were able to catch these Lothlorien Mounted Company. However, they were not really in formation, so they did take a few losses, and I mean they were able to inflict a few casualties, but not a ton. Here comes another unit of the Lothlorien Mounted Company. Over here, we've still got the Horse Archers down to 16 and 15, but elsewhere, we have actually got an engagement now on the part of Moria and Erebor. So it looks like Froggy is not going to be sitting back here. He wants to just instantly rush forward here and just try to break through the Dwarven lines, which he is currently being able to do. You can see the Goblin Infantry running straight through here into the Blackhawk Engineers. Of course, Froggy wants to silence those body-piercing crossbows. Looks like he's actually been given some support from Isengard mechs here in form of some War Riders. Maybe not. But still, the constant arrow fire from all of those Goblin Archers actually inflicting a decent amount of damage onto those Blackhawk Engineers. You just see the arrow after arrow being fired in here. It looks like the Blackhawk Engineers may be able to start firing pretty soon here. Also, as a whole, the Heavy Goblin Infantry will not do well against the Erebor infantry. However, the Heavy Goblin Spears will actually do decent because they are AP. However, they're very much unsupported right here, so they will probably not do fantastic. Here comes some more Goblin reinforcements as I speak. Oh yeah, and right here, oof, this is not good. The Warg Riders getting completely butchered by the Ironfoot Hammer Guard. Ironfoot Hammer Guard are melee cav and they are knights, so they're absolutely terrifying, even against other anti-cav units like Warg Riders. Although here comes some Champions of the White Hand. I'm not sure if Champions of the White Hand are AP in melee. I know the Hammer Guard are. But with the support of these 10 Warg Riders as well as the 22 Champions of the White Hand, these Ironfoot Hammer Guard may end up getting cut down because the Champions of the White Hand are definitely very good melee cav, but even still, you can see they actually took a bunch of losses from those Ironfoot Hammer Guard, even though they were the ones charging in there. We've also got Isengard pushing forward here with most of his entire army here. You can see the Dunlin Clansmen going to be first into the fray, and oh my, the Isengard crossbows just butchering this front line here of pikes and barding herd. So it looks like Dale also not doing super great. You can see a lot of dead pikemen and halberds, but over here, Umbar still just trying to deal with this kiting force from Lothlorien rather. You can see the Harbingers of Casimir actually taking some casualties as well. Galadrim Riders down to 6 and 15. They're both probably close to being out of ammo as well. It looks like a lot of the Lothlorien Mounted Company has gone down. Looks like there's only 2 units left of them, maybe? Of course, our Savages taking some charges here. Casimir's Legion, not great against cavalry, but still are decent, I guess. Also, the Sindar archers and Goliath nobles still trying to do their bit as well. So far, a very, very bloody engagement, to say the least. You can see the spears and halberds just rushing around, trying to ward off the cavalry. Although it looks like some Castamir's Rangers here, all unfortunately for Gervais, completely butchered down to only 5 men remaining. Castamir's Legion taking a brutal charge from the Gladron Mounted Company. No, that's from the Gladron Riders, rather. But here comes some halberds to help out. And here we've got the infantry engagement beginning for Isengard. You can see Isengard is very, very outnumbered here with all these spears and pikes and halberds, but the overall quality, at least on this first engagement, of Isengard should be able to win in this fight. You can see in the center they're already starting to break through, and they're actually forcing Mighty Eskimo to commit some sword masters. And with the advance of some trolls, I believe Isengard will be able to break through here, although here comes some Dalian cavalry about to charge this rear line of Uruk-hai crossbows here, and that is not going to be good for the crossbows. The AP Lancer damage right there going to be able to do a ton of work. Looks like the Nazkai and Berserkers also might be getting committed to the fray, as well as some more Quinty Pikes back there as well. So far just a bloody engagement. Meanwhile, on this side, ooh, I think the Champions of White Hand might have gotten butchered. Yeah, I think the Champions of White Hand are pretty much done for. So it looks like the Iron Hammer Guard are definitely the superior melee cav, although they're both definitely very good. And yes, here ooh, is that 2 units? Yes, there's actually 2 units here of the Black Mountain Berserkers. They cap at 1. But he actually brought 2 of them, so these guys are going to be very, very good against the entirety of the beleaguered Dwarven line. You can see the pikes are still holding reasonably well, but just the overwhelming numbers of the goblins here just managing to break through a lot of this Dwarven line here. You can see the cavalry are going to be able to get some heavy damage on the back lines there. It looks like most of the archers have also been committed from Froggy. And also these Blacklock engineers being assaulted by some random scattered units, not really being able to fire, is proving to be very, very bad for Baconfish. Although this unit right here of Blackback Mountain Berserkers that was trying to flank is probably about to take a brutal volley from the Black Shot. No, they're not. They actually fired right here, and oh, that body-piercing damage. Oh, that is not okay. Hopefully Froggy will stay on top of this unit right here and not let it get crossbowed to death. I'm really hoping that he'll be able to see those Blacklock engineers rather, and charge them with his very, very deadly Blackback Mountain Berserkers. I believe currently these Blackback Mountain Berserkers, I believe, are actually the most skilled unit in the entire Reforged game. I believe they currently have 24 skill. So yeah, definitely really insane. You can see they took a little bit of a Blacklock engineer volley there, but oh, with the rear charges from those Ironfang Hammer Guard causing a lot of routing here among the very low morale of the Moria armies. You can see he's trying to commit his Blackback Mountain Berserkers. This unit is looking pretty iffy there, and again with the constant charges in the rear by these Ironfang Hammer Guard, it's proving to be very difficult. Proving to be a very difficult fight for Froggy. Those spears might be able to cause a little bit of damage, but they're actually thinking about routing. Over here, though, these Blackback Mountain Berserkers in the rear line may be able to turn things around. You can see they're butchering this first unit of Blacklock Engineers, and then we'll move on to the second, which is down to only 19, is actually thinking about routing. So if these Blackback Mountain Berserkers are able to outflank these dwarves, it may be game over for Baconfish. However, just as I say that, you can see Isengard in particular has been really struggling. His initial charge was decent. He was able to break a lot of his enemy's forces, but with the help, it looks like, from Master Blaster's cavalry, as well as just the overwhelming archers from Dale, looks like Isengard is going to end up being defeated here. He's still got some units around here that he's trying to do his best with, but right here, all these Elven Pikes with the Urian's Paladins just butchering most of his infantry. However, just as I say that, here comes the last forces from Umbar. This may be able to turn the tide. I mean, there's still that Lorien cavalry that is oh so good. And actually over here we've got a lot of the Corsair archers trying to deal with the elites from Master Blaster, but I don't know how well it's going to work out for him. Even with some Castamir's Legion, that's probably not going to do super great. These 8 Corsair Blackguards might be able to cause some damage, but overall it's actually looking very, very close in all honesty. With the events of these Umbar forces, I don't really know if they're enough to be able to defeat all of Dale. There are still some Isengard forces around here. You can see the Berserkers and the Nazkai trying to deal with the Blackshot Dragon Slayers, but the Blackshot Dragon Slayers are by no means bad in melee. They're insane in melee, so they will be able to deal with those Isengard forces pretty easily. And you can see there's not actually a ton of Dalian forces left over here. There are some elites like the Dragon Slayers and the Gurian's Paladins, but there are still a lot of Umbar forces around here. And over here, if the Misty Mountain is able to win, you can see there's some Goblin Archers, And oh, it's looking very, very close. I mean, oh, there's not a ton of goblins left over, but there are not many dwarves left over either. And again, because... Oh, there goes the Isengard General. That's not good. But because of the fact that most all of the Blacklock engineers are now dead, and because there are still 30 Blackback Mountain Berserkers there, and then I think there's like 58 here, this may end up being a win here for the Misty Mountains, despite... Oh, it's going to be really close, though. I mean, that cavalry is still causing a bunch of issues. Like, you can see a lot of routing. And there are still a lot of Dwarven Pikes, but again, the Blackback Mountain Berserker is just so insane. And now that there's only 2 Hammerguard, I think this may be game over for Baconfish. Unfortunately, I think having 3 Black Block Engineers was maybe just a little bit too ambitious. Looks like he maybe wasn't able to quite keep on top of the micro, or really wasn't... His front line wasn't able to hold for long enough, really, to allow his Blacklock engineers to maybe get around the flank and start getting some fire down the entire Moria line. So it looks like that may be the deciding factor here. You can see some routing from Baconfish. His Blacklock engineers at 17. That is the General's unit right there. Their General's bodyguard here, the Ironfoot Hammerguard. And yeah, it just looks like the overwhelming power of the Blacklock, or the Blackback Mountain Berserkers will be able to pull this out for Froggy. Very good play from both sides, though. You can see there's not a lot of goblins left over, and there will be fewer still. And there's only 11 goblins from his bodyguard left, including the General. So I think that's going to be game over there. There goes the Dalian General as well, but I think it's going to be game over for Baconfish, though very well fought. Over here, it's still looking very close. You can see these few 16 Uruk-hai infantry probably going to be enough to beat those 20 Lake Town bows. There's Borquindi Bowman back there, and over here it looks like with the support of Umbar, it looks like Isengard actually still has a few units. He's got trolls as well as some Uruk-hai infantry. And some more Uruk-hai infantry over here. It looks like they will be able to beat Dale. So it looks like this... I'm betting this is going to be a victory, it looks like, for Team 1. That, of course, being Isengard's team. It looks like Umbar is still trying to run around to try to deal with the last of Master Blaster's forces. His ambush force and his kind of supporting force worked decently well, but I don't really think it ended up paying off quite as well as he'd maybe hoped. Harbingers of Casting are going to need some help, though, from the Belgier Halberds if they want to defeat the Sindar Archers as well as the Galadrim Nobles. So yeah, Umbar probably should commit some over here, commit some more units over here to help out his general's bodyguard there. But yeah, over here, the Girions Paladins not going to go down without a fight. Very strong. Also, they're being given some support there from the few remaining Dalian cavalry. And again, there are still those 27 Morquindi bows, who will be more than enough to beat those 14 Uruk-hai infantry. There go the Morquindi pikes routing. But yeah, Girions Paladins will probably be overwhelmed eventually, though they will be able to deal a lot of damage to the Moonrune Shipyard, to be honest with you. Here comes some elite pikes. There's the 7 Lothlorien company left over. And yeah, over here, it looks like the dwarves have now been beaten. There's only 1 Hammerguard left over, and it's actually routing, and that is actually the general right there of the Dwarves of Erebor. So unfortunately, looks like this dwarf has had enough of the fight. Despite being the general, he is just going to run away and try to survive for another day. And it looks like, yeah, bringing 2 units of the Blackback Mountain Berserkers definitely paid off for Froggy there. I think if it weren't for these 2 units, he definitely would have ended up losing that there. Those Blackbacks were really butchering a lot of his units here, as well as the cavalry that the dwarves brought here. But again, very close fight. Oof, oh, it was so super close on that side. And I mean, it's still pretty close. I mean, the percentage is, what, 95 to 85? So it's within 10%. So not a bad fight at all. Over here, Lorien Mounted Company dealing with the last of the Uruk-hai infantry that were fighting these Morquindi bows. And now it's basically just going to be a last stand here of the Girions Paladins and then the few remaining Imladris. I keep wanting to say Imladris, but it's Lothlorien forces. My bad. There goes the yeah, that's probably the Lothlorien. It looks like the nobles and the Sindar archers were completely surrounded and have now been cut down. So without further ado, I think we can go ahead and speed up because it's just going to be kind of the last stand of these Dalian cavalry, probably just cycle charging. There's some more Morquindi bows as well as some mounted company that are probably just going to be cycle charging for the rest of the battle. So that's basically going to be it. You can see the Misty Mountains forces coming over here now. There goes the last of the Girions Paladins. Over here, Blackback Mountain Berserkers trying to chase down the Lorien Mounted Company, actually going to be enough to rout them. And now there's only those 23 Morquindi bows, I believe, that are left on the field of battle today for the red team. And oh boy, yeah, those Blackback Mountain Berserkers, oh so good. It's very deadly, just all around. There's still 1 Dalian cavalry left over. There goes the Morquindi bows to routing. Ooh, Azog might get killed here. Oh no, he's protected, but very close to that. Still, Good game to all the players involved, and very big thank you to Isgard Mex for sending me this replay. He was able to snag the most kills, getting 1,379. Baconfish getting 2,400 kills, despite only having 990 men. Master Blaster did not do bad at all, considering he only had 672 men, and a Mighty Eskimo and Captain Gervais didn't do bad either. We can take a quick look here. The Naz currently getting 65 kills, although I believe they were trying to fight against the Dragon Slayers for a lot of that, so they, of course, weren't going to do super great. Uruk-hai Infantry 190, Pikemen all did good, Trolls of White Hand also were very good, Uruk-hai Berserkers not so much, and Champions of White Hand only getting 8 kills, but I believe that's because they were getting attacked by the Ironfoot Hammer Guard. Warg Riders also shared the same fate. His crossbows didn't do bad either, neither did his other infantry that he brought. Clansmen were just kind of there and did their job. Yeah, that'll pretty much be the end of this video, so if you guys did enjoy it, please comment, like, and subscribe if you did. If you did not, just tell me what I did wrong, and I'll be sure to fix it for the next one. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eye receive you, at your journey's end.